when you see, guys, I just saw sentient piles of poo that walk and wear masks like Ninja Turtles. It was freaky. Ugh, what the, just, oh god, that was horrible. I'm not the strangest thing I've seen. You know, people. I may be called the professor, but I've traveled with the doctor a lot. I had my own TARDIS, but back before I did, I actually did travel with the doctor quite a lot. Whenever, well, those times, the between Rose and his regeneration, turning him into the 11th Doctor. Yeah, we went on a lot of really cool adventures. Like we fought old versions of the Cybermen. Their weaknesses. The old ones' weaknesses are gold. You know, their weakness is gold. I guess all the Cybermen's weakness is gold, but did not tell me some of the newer models of Cybermen they kind of pushed out that weakness. When he told me about it, I was like, oh, so they adapted to the fact that. See, it was a very long discussion, and me and him go back and forth with certain discussions, and he told me that they evolved, they sort of upgraded to the point where gold doesn't really affect them. And to be quite honest, the first sonic screwdriver I made was it was back in Mobius. I was kind of helping Sonic out, and this, stop like bandits and SWAT bots and like. I made the sonic screwdriver. Kind of a way to open doors or dismantle SWAT bots. And sometimes when me and Sonic would Sonic and the other freedom fighters would dress up as SWAT bots, I'd pull out the old Sonic screwdriver just in case. Before Sonic does any kind of spinning moves that would kind of either kill them, I'd pull out my Sonic screwdriver like, see if they deactivate, they're regular SWAT bots. But if they still move, they're the rest of the freedom fighters. So, but back to me in the doc. People, we've done a lot of stuff in the time frame before he regenerated. Because I've been way longer than anybody because I've been there through his regeneration. I've hung out with him a few times. Usually, I never became his full-on assistant because basically I always had somewhere I needed to be, so I never really was his full-on assistant. But whenever he called me or needed to talk, I'd come with him. Sometimes Jack would be there. God, let's not talk about Jack. The less you want to know about. The less I talk about Jack, the better, because no one needs to know what happened to me there. No one needs to know what happened to me. I'll just say this: the man will hit on anything and anybody. Doesn't matter which gender you are, he will hit on you, regardless. Anyways, so despite that, there's a few times. See, but the thing is, I kill when it's necessary. The doctor doesn't like to use violence. I'll be armed to, me. I'll be armed to the teeth with rocket launchers on my shoulders and all this other stuff. But the doc always hated me using my weapons. He never wanted me to actually. He never wants me to actually kill anybody. It's not like I draw the conclusion to kill people. It's like I only kill when it is necessary and nothing more, nothing less. That's basically the thing. With me. Doc once told me you shouldn't kill at all, but I said, Doc, the things I face, there isn't no way to help them, or there isn't any way to say, well, I'll help you find something. No, they want to kill. There's nothing I can do. I've seen what he's. I'm like, I've seen what you did. I've heard of the stuff you did to certain aliens that was messing around when you were human. I've heard about that. And he said, you know about that? And I was like, yeah. You freaking, you trapped a little evil alien chick in the mirror. You made one freaking, one of those alien dudes. They were called the Family or whatever. You know, when the doctor was human. If you guys watch that episode, it's a long, dragging episode of epic proportions. So I was like, me and the doc would swap stories. Mostly all mine. All mine are technically either violent based, but most of the time, but the freedom fighter stuff, nah. It was mostly me using my brain for most of it, like stopping the SWAT bots, making the gate around Knothole. I should really talk about that one. It's a really good story. But I'll talk about that later. The doc, the doc always said, when I got my TARDIS, the doc would say, Bugs, why don't you have a companion with you in your TARDIS? Doesn't it get lonely? I said, Doc, I mean, I'm a person that has companionship, but usually, sometimes I don't need a companion. But I know you do because you're always lonely and no one's around with you. So that's why you always call me up and we basically stop some Cybermen, stop a Dalek, or stop some Solzurans. He's always, he's always had this I'm alone vibe to him. Whenever, you'd always get me to say like Bugsy. He, sometimes he'd call me Argos or the Professor, whatever. But when it was coming to Cybermen taking over Mobius, and it's all coming back to me now. Freaking me and the Doctor. We had. He actually came to Mobius one time. Said that I actually called him on this because there are weeping angels attacking Mobius, and he was like, Bugsy, how are you? And I was like, Doc, I'm cool, but there's weeping angels here. Doc knows I'm really not fond of weeping angels. They freaking creep me out. And you can't blink at these things. You gotta stare them down. I mean, see, but whenever I see a statue, like if I'm going somewhere and I see a statue, see, that's what they do to you. You can't even see a statue without freaking looking at it like you're gonna freaking destroy it with your mind. It's freaking creepy. Oh man, I swear. But I told everybody, don't blink because these things will take you to a different time period, and I won't be able to save you guys if you do. Freaking Jeffrey St. John was there, and I was like, but if you blink, I wouldn't really care. Yeah, because back then, me and I hated Jeffrey for a lot of reasons. Back then, I hated that Jeffrey for a lot of reasons. More than I hated Ash. I was just hoping, and I know this is wrong, Even the doc told me this was wrong. I was like hoping that Ash would like look like blinked at a weeping angel and he went somewhere. There, doc looked. I remember I said it out loud like, "Oh, why isn't Ash over here? Why is he not blinking?" But freaking doc looked at me. I was like, "Really?" He said, "Really, Bugsy? Really?" I was like, "Doc, the dude's a complete and utter the dude's a complete and utter a-hole, and you trust me. I mean, I think we all be better off. I mean, does it say anything in the timeline that he does anything? Like anything significant? I mean, really? And, you know, it turns out he doesn't. I swear. I was beating old. See, if Daleks attacked Mobius, the only person I wouldn't save would be Ash Mongoose. I would just let him die. I don't care. I guess I wouldn't let him die. That's a little step too far. But gotta at least let him rough him up. Let them kind of almost rough him up and I save his ungrateful freedom fighter hating self. I mean, dudes. That's what I do. But we did stop the weeping angels. Don't ask us how, because I barely remember it. Um, there were, but I met him at his 11th form today. That was back. That story took place when he was in his 10th reincarnation, incarnation, and me and him just talked. He's like, "How's life?" And I was like, "You know, I'm fine. How are you?" And he's like, "How are you?" And he's like, "No, he actually, no." I was like, I was doing something. I was doing something. I forget what. And all I hear is Geronimo. I turn around. I turn around for a minute. And I'm going like, "Doc, is that you?" No, seriously, because I haven't seen him since I haven't seen him since he regenerated. So seeing this new face of his, I was like, "Dude, you regenerate." I was like, "Doc, you regenerated." You know, I call him Doc like Marty calls him Doc. You know, I'm a Saiyan Lord, and Saiyan Lord, you know, what a Saiyan Lord basically is a time when when a Saiyan and a Time Lord love each other very much. They well fill in that blank. So yeah. For most people that didn't know, I am a hybrid, both Saiyan and Daytime Lord at the same time. Which is really, when I think about it, it's kind of, you know, people would say it's far fetched, but I can regenerate pretty much infinitely, and I don't know how long I get. I don't know what's my limit, but I don't want to find out. And sometimes, in some cases, I can age, but other times I freaking can't. So yeah, that's pretty much how I regenerate, and I don't really know. That's pretty much all I freaking know. But you know, it's not that bad. I just gotta. Sorry, the phone's ringing. Sometimes I gotta, you know, watch myself whenever when I'm ever in a fight, because you know, if you were I mean, if you watch Doctor Who, if you watch Doctor Who, if you watch Doctor Who, you would know that. And sorry, I had to talk over my phone. It says numbers. It's a cordless phone. It just says numbers, and I try to freaking out talk it so no one hears the numbers. Anyways, so okay, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. If you watch Doctor Who, you know that if the Doctor gets wounded or anything, he regenerates. But what you kind of know, if the Doctor is in his regenerative cycle and he gets hurt even further, he can die, and thus it can happen to me. Though I can regenerate a little bit faster. I mean, you'd have to either stab me or shoot me like in a millisecond. That's how fast you have to really be. Other than that, I wouldn't say I'm fully immortal because like Time Lords we can't die, and but I have no limit. And I don't think any of my I don't think my bros do either. See, but the regenerative factor that most Time Lords have, it doesn't really. I mean, because I'm a hybrid, and because my bros are hybrids. We don't know if the regenerative factor always goes to kids. So if we have like kids, we don't know if they actually have the regenerative power. But we don't try to test this out because in order to have someone regenerate, you have to you have to kind of almost kill them. We don't try to do that. It's like you're like I don't want to freaking find out. Let's just make sure let's just make sure let's just make sure we protect them and they protect themselves. So we never have to see if they do. But the one thing that really doesn't change, I can regenerate, right? But my voice, it stays the same no matter what I'm doing, no matter what happens. My face may change, but my voice, it changes slightly, but you can barely notice. A few other things. A few other things. The only companion I've technically had in my TARDIS was basically Sally. But that was sort of during the whole Psych and Sally breaking up thing. Yeah. And remember the Blackwood Sally story I told? Yeah. I think it was after that or before that. Well, it was after that when she became my actual companion, and we went on adventures together and stuff like that. But the thing is, the Doctor, I don't try to have a whole bunch of. I never had like a whole bunch of companions like the Doc has. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not as lonely as he is because I'm not the last of my. I'm not the last of my race, basically. Yeah, if anybody knows, I went back in time to stop Raph from killing me in the past. So to kind of do that, the Saiyans, they are not they exist. They didn't die because of Frieza because I made sure Bardock and I destroyed Frieza, and Frieza stabbed me, and that was the first time I technically regenerated. I was like, they were like, "What's going on?" I was like, I'm regenerating." And you know how the Doctor regenerates. He blows. If he's in the TARDIS freaking blows up because of all that energy. But when it happens to me, it's like really, really, it's like a small explosion. But I'm back. I'll have my body parts. I'll be back and all this other stuff. And then Frieza, I'm fully, I'm fully back to myself. And I'm like, and Frieza goes, "What are you?" And I'm like, I'm a Saiyan Lord. And what that means is I'm part-time Lord, part Saiyan. So you and your race has something new to be afraid of. I didn't even fight Frieza myself. I just punched him and I let I let the other saints have at it. So yeah, and I went to my TARDIS, and yes, that's when I rewound most of the timelines that had anything to do with me, including bugs, because our timelines are kind of intertwined. I know you can't see my hands, but they're kind of I'm kind of making a merge motion with my hands. So yeah, that's that's pretty much it. I think a whole bunch of other timelines of versions of me that have, because some of them have me in them. I think I've also wound some of the timelines or rewritten them. I had to, because if Raph wrote me out of the timeline, a lot of things, a lot of things would happen. A lot of things would happen, and I can tell you this: like Sonic would never have been really fast without the rings. Or here's a starter. Raph would have probably taken over the freaking multiverse if I didn't do anything. Here's another thing. Dr. Cube would have probably taken over the universe. This universe that I'm currently in. You know, so stuff like that. A lot of people ask, am I on Earth? Yes. Am I on your Earth? Yes, I am. But I do. But, I don't travel like the dog does. I only do it sometimes whenever I'm really needed. I always, you know, yeah, my Saunders Lincoln, he always says he comes where he's needed. He goes where he's needed. And where he gets that from? He gets that from me. Because I always say I go where I'm needed. Whenever I see there's some kind of messed up thing in the universe and messed up thing in my or anybody else's timeline, I go check it out. You know, because if they get written from time, you forget them. Kind of like how you go through a time crack and everything you knew about the person kind of disappears. Like how like Amy cried about Rory, and she didn't know why. She didn't know why she was crying. She just cried. She just knows there's something sad about it. I was like, so I have to make sure, sometimes I make sure everybody's timeline is okay. It's like the first thing I do in the morning. I go like, all right. I go like, on Sakamaru's timeline, yes. I kind of have like a little list of timelines I checked over the last week. I go like, all right, good. Yeah, I'm typing in my laptop. I'm like, good. Okay, timeline here, good. Okay, also good. I'm just, I do get busy. Also, running Team H isn't really that. It gets really taxing because since since I'm the savior of the multiverse, everybody comes to help. And I gotta manage things and do things and freaking make sure everybody's doing their jobs and everything else. And I gotta make sure Kulu doesn't go crazy and blow up the lab and grows a mustache and tries to come back in time to kill me. But that's a different story for another day. So, but hey, that's pretty much how my life pretty much works. That's pretty much a normal day. But I think that's about it. If you guys want to hear any more like stories in depth, like what kind of creatures have I fought, or what kind of stuff that I've been through with the doctor, like stuff like that, stuff you want to know. Um, I'll tell you. This is the. I'll say this once. This is the. This is the. Excuse me. This is the professor, and I'll say this. Look to the stars, people, because whenever you see a falling star, you see me, or you see the doctor. Either way, But all I gotta say is, Alonzi. See you later. No, I don't like that. Alonzi. Yeah, the doctor can do it better than me. I mean, I say it, but it makes me look like a freaking. Whenever I say it, it makes me sound like an idiot. Well, see you later.